San Francisco. My name is Janis Pieterwas, and I'm a construction innovation manager for GOLDBECK. I welcome you to our session about GOLDBECK's first experiences with construction robotics and first insights of the construction robotics pilot project that we've recently conducted. Right, I hope you guys can see my screen, right?
Everything perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
Go ahead.
So why construction robotics and why now? As all of you know, the construction industry is unfortunately not one of the forefront pioneers, let's put it this way, when it comes to innovation. Meaning our productivity rate is remarkably low in comparison with almost every other industry. Plus, we are running out of skilled laborers in a tremendous speed. A few years ago, this was just a prediction, but now we are in it quite in the middle. Whilst there's a huge market and an increasing demand for housing and buildings that needs to be addressed by us, by our industry. So this is no news to all of you, I guess. Let me go to GOLDBECK's processes and the overview there. So the company actually provides end-to-end buildings. It's like a one-stop shop for construction. Taking off from the design phase, where we model all of our buildings in BIM, proceeding to the prefabrication of our building components in our own factories, to the logistic of the elements to the construction sites, where the actual assembly of the parts to the finished products takes place. And finally, we have the operations and maintenance phase. So robotics can be used in 4 out of the 5 main verticals of our value chain. This is more or less, this is more than reason enough to start digging a bit deeper into construction robotics for GOLDBECK. Okay, so how can robots help us resolve some of the issues that we have? So firstly, robots can take over repetitive and strenuous tasks, like painting ceilings or lifting heavy bricks around. Secondly, they can work in environments that are unsafe or unhealthy for humans, for instance, in heights, working in contaminated areas, like all of this stuff. And finally, robots can help us improve the quality of the products that we deliver to our clients at the end of the day. I mean, isn't that what our customers want from us? Is actually like a building that meets their expectations from a perspective of aesthetics, sustainability, and functionality. So GOLDBECK's business model of standardizing prefabrication building components makes the perfect DNA to put robots to work. We can literally take the automotive industry as a perfect example for this. So firstly, industrialized construction plus prefabrication goes hand in hand with robotics, because we see repetitive tasks in all project phases due to the systematic approach. That again makes it beneficial to deploy robots. Secondly, there's a fast growing interest of both sides. You have the construction companies, the venture capital investors, and on the other hand side, you have entrepreneurs from the robotics industry. So these two parties have to be connected and these two parties have to speak. Last but not least, the software and the hardware ability of robots are finally becoming job site proof, meaning they are ready to navigate the constantly changing conditions on job sites. So I try to speed up a little bit here. I wanted to talk about how we reach our goals, or how we try to reach our goals, where we started with conducting a market analysis. So I kind of went in hundreds of different directions to kind of grasp the market and see what's actually out there. We were surprised how many different construction robotic companies are already on the market. We realized pretty early on that it would be a waste of resources if we would now move on and randomly start testing solutions to find out a good fit for us. Instead, we took a step back and focused on the needs and our own goals. The goal of the first phase on the left side of the slide actually was to explore and understand our own use cases, not just from a financial perspective, but also from a technical standpoint. The goal of the second phase on the right side of the slide was to take those use cases that we've defined earlier and bring them into a prioritized order. So now we are actually capable of talking to startups, talking to investors, talking to everyone who can like help us like making our visions reality. And we can tell them exactly how the use case looks like from a technical, from a cost standpoint, and yeah, we know exactly like how to kind of facilitate it. Okay, so let me jump to the next topic real quick, and this is like the POC that we conducted in Germany. It looks like Photoshop, but at the end of the day, like the 3 robots that you guys see on the slide were like physically on the construction site in the same story, in the same room. And yeah, this POC was conducted in April this year in Germany. 3 robots from 3 different countries got shipped to the site to perform their work. Let's start with Okibo. It's in the slide on the right side in the back. Okibo is actually, many of you might know them. They developed an autonomous painting robot that recognizes and processes conditions on the job site in real time to conduct the job of painting walls and ceilings. Our second contributor was Hilti's J-Bot. That's a semi-autonomous drilling robot for ceilings with the potential to optimize the project schedule and taking over this pretty nasty job for our staff to kind of like drill holes overhead in ceilings. And third, last but not least in a row, was Spot Mini from Boston Dynamics, our job site like mule in a way that helped us capturing 360 images and laser scans, both with Faro and HoloBuilder that I want. Okay. Our playground was an office building with 6 stories and a footprint of roughly 80,000 square feet. We divided the building into 2 sections. Section A was used for the robots, like we unleashed the robots there, included 3 of the 6 stories. And section B was like the remaining floors where the site operations ran as usual. We did that to kind of compare notes at the end of the day. Key performance indicators such as efficiency and productivity rates, schedule improvements, and like effects on the health and safety conditions on our construction sites. To wrap it up real quick, just some quick learnings. The collaboration between humans and machines creates a vast potential to shape our industry. It's what we learned, like it was our first big hands-on POC and we learned so much. So my recommendation to everyone is get your hands dirty, like really try out the stuff. You're gonna learn a lot, like devil's always in detail. A robot is nothing else than a tool at the end of the day. It was great to see how the first skepticism of construction workers and contractors turned into curiosity over time. Eventually, everyone began to see the value and then realized that the robot is nothing else than like a tool that helps people getting the job done. And finally, industry leaders have to guide the way to help this field of construction robotics thrive and create value in the future. So is there a limiting factor from my perspective? I would say yes. I see 2 things. Number one is there's a lack of knowledge on the side of the construction industry about opportunities and potentials that robots can facilitate for us. So guys, really my recommendation is, my call to action is prioritize and like define your own use cases, like see what's important for you and make it as easy as possible for robotic companies to talk to you, to us, and help us solving the problems. Secondly, the lack of understanding of robotic companies about the needs and hardship of the construction industry. So you see, in a nutshell, both sides have to start vividly exchange and talk to each other in a dialogue. And yeah, that's my call to action. Both sides have to talk, and I'm very happy to be part of it. And thanks for listening to the presentation. Please reach out at any time.